Hello, my name is Nick, and this video is to describe the PAL program to you and the worksheet. So you might think it's funny, but we're actually changing our name again. We were Health Coach, then we were PAL, standing for Patient Activation Liaison. Now we're going to be Personal Assistant and Liaison. So we're keeping the acronym PAL, but you're calling yourself a personal assistant for the patient. The reason we're doing this is because think about yourself. Do you want a health coach? Do you want a patient activation liaison? I don't. I would like a PAL in terms of someone who would be my personal assistant. That sounds cool to me. It sounds like I get to choose what I want done, and this personal assistant does it. So it is the further progression along our pathway to disassociate ourselves from being part of healthcare and to associate ourselves with being part of a patient-identified priority and identifying ourselves as someone who is there for the person in the room. So we're also not going to be loading them up with a personal health record, an 8-page document that has asked them to write down everything from advanced directives to health conditions to medications. You might say, oh my goodness, not again, another change. But the fact is that this is making it a lot easier, and it's a lot clearer for you when you go in the room, and a lot clearer to the patient what you're there to do. And you're going to see this workbook or this worksheet right now. So you're going to go in the room and you're going to say, hello, Mr. Jones. So if they say that they are Mr. Jones, you're going to say, hi, my name is Nick. I'm a hospital volunteer. I'm part of a program that's trained me to be a free personal assistant. We call ourselves PALS. It's free for you just for being a university hospital's patient. Do you have a moment to hear about what I can offer you as your personal assistant? So if they do, then you can clean your hands, ideally in front of them, sit down in a place where you can see along the same line of vision that they see, so side by side with them. And that also allows you to see the door. So if anybody comes across the threshold, you can invite them in and not have them say that they need to come back or go away without even bothering. You can write for them, and that's probably the thing you can do by default. And you can always offer to come back after a meal, after they have somebody else, like a nurse, come in and do what they need to do, or a doctor team, or physical therapy. So page 1 of this document, you're going to say, this is the, so I'm a PAL, a personal assistant and liaison, and what does a PAL do? So a PAL is especially trained to assist you in 1, finding exciting personal goals, and 2, defining or developing realistic plans to achieve them. How does this work? A PAL will work with you, or I'll work with you when we're in the hospital, and then I can follow up with you by phone as many times and for as long as you want. So I'm going to put my name here, and I'd write Nick there. And if you want to work with me today, we can do that, and we'll turn the page. So if they want to work with you, you go on to the next page. So this is the personal goal worksheet, and here you're going to choose a personal goal. Now, before we actually choose which goal you want to pursue, let's talk about 3 areas. So the first is going to be relationships. And then the next area is going to be independence, power, and self-control. The third area is going to be abilities. So for each of these areas, I'm going to just ask you first, is there a relationship or someone you're connected to in your life that you feel is especially important? And why is it that they matter to you? So if you say that Anne is in your life and why they matter to you, because they really care about me. Okay, I'm going to put because they really care about you. And then I'm going to ask you to reflect, is there a way that this connection with Anne could be better, that you could foresee in the future? Something you could do to make your relationship with Anne better. In independence, power, and self-control, so we're talking about areas of your life where you feel either completely independent or you feel somewhat dependent. And for each of those areas, we're going to talk about why becoming more independent is important. Why does that matter to you? So And we're going to also include power and self-control. So are there areas where you don't feel like you have a lot of power and you'd like to have more power? Or are there areas where you feel like you don't really have a lot of control and that you'd like to have more control? So for each of these things that we discuss, we'll talk about why having more control or power or independence matters to you. And we'll talk about a way that you think that you could increase your power or your self-control or your independence in that area. Finally, we'll talk about abilities. So you can fill out all three or just one, but you're going to ask the person, is there something that you do that you want to do better? And why do you want to do that better? So I play the guitar. Why do I want to do it better? Because I like the sound of the guitar when I'm playing in my band, and I enjoy playing songs in my band. And how could you improve that? So is there anything you could do to get better at the guitar? Also, for abilities, it could be something that you don't do currently but would like to try. So for each of these areas, you're going to have these discussions, and these give you a framework for choosing a personal goal. They also are a very nice structured way to get to know the person better and to talk about what matters to them. They're also a very positive way and a very nice way to be future thinking, forward thinking, and not dwell on how they are in the hospital and sick and dwell on their health condition. A lot of times people will bring up their health condition when they're talking about ways that they could have better control of their lives, because being in the hospital is a loss of control. But it's not something that you need to bring out. You want to pursue anything that gets them to be happy talking about. On the bottom of this page, you're going to see that, okay, so we talked about these things. It seems like you got really excited about your possibility of going on a date with a new person in your life. So you want that to be your goal. So go over these three areas and these ideas that were generated by that discussion and have them think about something that they could accomplish, and you can make the deadline or the date to accomplish it the next time you would call them. So if you're coming in that Friday, you could say, well, I'll be back next Friday. Can we set a goal for when we talk that next Friday, that something you would have worked on by then that you can catch me up on? So they'll write their goal there, and then you'll talk about, well, what do you need to do to accomplish that goal? And they'll put that down by the steps they'll take. So when you have this follow-up with this last page, you'll write your name there, and you'll say, when I call you, if you still have this sheet, you can write down the date that we talk and write down any new plans that you have. But I can call you as much as you want going forward, and we can keep doing this if you enjoy it. So when you close with the patient, you want to write down on your encounter form the date that you committed to calling them back. You want to just remind them, okay, so you're going to be calling a girl and finding out if she wants to go on a date with you. That's your plan. And then you're going to go on a date and go to a restaurant and see a movie, hopefully. And we'll talk about that when I call. And then you want to write down their contact number. So this is it. This is your whole worksheet for them. You give this to them. It's very easy. It's very focused. It's very topical. It's what you are there to do. Nothing extraneous. Nothing that is not fun to do. And see how it works. We'll develop it as we go. Enjoy.